Troy, you can identify with what Mourinho was saying because you've been saying much the same thing. I mean, England have got to change it somewhat so that it goes more in Harry Kane's advantage.
Yeah, of course. I said it yesterday, and I don't think I articulated myself properly. I think when you look at Germany, for example, or Belgium or the French, a lot of their players play a similar style of football in their club football to what the national team want them to do. I think when you look at England, for example, we have Foden and Sterling who are at City. There's only two teams in our league that play to that intensity, I feel, which is City and Liverpool, with possession based and getting after you as well. Then you go to Tottenham. I think Tottenham under Mourinho was very much more a counter-attacking team. So you've got different styles that with our best players that are all trying to gel in a very short time period, and also we didn't really have everyone fit for the friendlies. So we're now getting to a position where you're probably not getting the best out of everybody, but I think the decision of a manager is, do I want to get all my best players on the pitch, or do I get the best team that makes my best player play to his full potential?
Yeah.
And I think that's what Mourinho was basically highlighting too, that we've got good players, we have a very good squad, but we haven't found that chemistry which gets it. I think totally agree with him on Mason Mount being at 8 more than a 10. I think that as well. I don't think we should have 2 holding midfielders. I think we could do it with 1. And then you need more legs in the middle. So pretty similar to what France do. They have Kante holding, Pogba, you go wherever you want. And I think we've got the players to do that as well.
Simon, to me, it's a no-brainer. The situation off the field regarding Harry Kane is bound to be affecting him. I think that is an absolute given because we're talking about the biggest move of this boy's career.
But why would it be?
Is swishing about in his mind.
But why, Jim?
And it's not sorted yet. It's not sorted yet.
But why would it be affecting him? We're talking about an upside for Harry Kane. We're talking about a development. His career's not going to go backwards. It's going to go forward. If anything, he should be excited and thrilled about the opportunities about to come his way. Because either he's going to get a stonking new deal from Tottenham Hotspur that's going to leverage him economically to a different stratosphere, or he's going to go to a bigger club and win things. Either which way, Harry Kane is on the cusp of an immense change only for his benefits.
Yeah, I mean, Troy, I know you want to come in on this. It's I'm sure it's bound to be affecting him. It's on his mind.
Of course, yeah. I tend to agree with Simon though. I think he should be carefree now, because all the responsibilities of being a human being is financially look after your family. That's what everyone wants to do financially. So he knows, as Simon said, leveraging it either way. He's either going to get paid a huge amount of money from Spurs and a 5-year deal, and he'll be a legend forevermore, break all the records and it's his home, or he'll go to City, win things, and then he'll be a Premier League superstar, and then we can start talking about, is he as good as Alan Shearer, Thierry Henry, all of these different people. But I think in this instance, surely it should be carefree. He should be now playing and going, look, this is what I'm about. When we're talking about the Euros, I hear people talk about Haaland, Mbappe, Ronaldo. I don't hear Kane's name being mentioned. Surely someone of Harry Kane's stature will be like, I want to be part of that.
I tell you what's very interesting, Jim, is it's often other people that assert the view that a player's struggling. You just heard a player himself that understands the dynamics of what a move may look like. You know, if Harry Kane had scored 2 goals in the last 2 games, no one would be saying Harry Kane was challenged by the fact that he's got a big move on the horizon. The problem is that a plethora of top players, England is often a graveyard for top players because, as Troy has alluded to, very rarely do they replicate their club form playing at international level, because often they're playing with different players that bring out different things from in different positions. Look at players that have been absolutely phenomenal at club level, like Ian Wright and John Barnes, that ultimately went at international level and never fulfilled their potential because they were playing for managers and setups and teams that didn't suit the way that they play. And I think it's a bit rich, by the way, Jose Mourinho coming on here, giving people a lecture about getting the best from people, when clearly he didn't get the best from the Tottenham players as a result of the performances they put in all season.
No, I'd agree with that. But Troy, you were quick to mention family and the importance of family in what is a life-changing, career-changing move for Harry Kane. He would have to uproot his family if he moves to the Northwest. There's a lot in his mind. He'll be speaking to his missus all the time throughout the Euros. It's swishing about at the back of his mind, and we were led to believe that he wanted this sorted before a ball was kicked in anger at the Euros, and it hasn't been yet.
Jim, I promise you, moving from London to Manchester, it is stressful, but it's stressful for the missus, stressful for the moving company. It ain't stressful for the player picking a house. I promise you that. He's moving to Cheshire probably, £6, £7, £8 million house. He's choosing, does he want a swimming pool or does he want a gym and a swimming pool? I promise you, if he wanted it sorted before, if Harry Kane, and I know Harry, and I'm not having a dig at him, I'm saying if he wanted this to be sorted before the Euros, he's living in a financially different place, because this is the biggest move of the English transfer market. This is not happening overnight. This is going to be done mid-August if they're lucky.
Right. Well, let me tell you, guys, I'm not going to name him, but one of the top agents in the game is listening this morning and saying, Jim, I know players. This is bound to be affecting Harry Kane. I mean, the bottom line of this, Simon, if 100 million is on the table plus a player deal, at what point does it become too good to turn down?
For whom? For Tottenham?
For Levy. When does he say,
I tell you
all right, we've got to do this now?
I tell you when it becomes, and by the way, I couldn't care less what an agent says about what a player's thoughts are. Right? I tell
Troy,
you,
you just have to go with this, mate.
I tell you when it becomes too good to turn down, when Daniel Levy says so. Mm-hmm. That's when it becomes too good to turn down. And it's interesting, really interesting for me, is the names that are being introduced into the thinking as make-weights. Because I'm surprised, I'm not a fan of his, but I'm surprised to see Raheem Sterling in the mix as a make-weight. I'm not surprised to see Gabriel Jesus in there, but I'm surprised to see the indication that 100 million, if that's the number that we're talking about, plus a Raheem Sterling to make this deal happen. I'm sure Raheem Sterling will be delighted to hear that indexing.
Well, are you surprised at some of the names in the frame here, Troy?
I am. Even Laporte, for me, I think Laporte is a big piece to Man City, and obviously they've just lost Garcia as well, who's just gone to Barcelona. I'm interested to hear from Simon's perspective, obviously as being a chairman and an owner. When you're looking at your squad, do you go, right, let's say when you was at Palace, let's say you had Wilf Zaha currently. Yeah. When does it become business over your want for the need of the team? Like, when does business take over more than this guy is good for my team? When the manager tells me. And the problem for Tottenham is they don't have a bloody manager. So the challenge is here. If I'm sat there and I've got the economic value of a Wilf Zaha, which was going to be challenged this summer because I don't think people are going to pay what Palace want. But let's say Harry Kane is the relevant example. If I'm Daniel Levy and I've got a manager, I'm saying, okay, I get 100 million quid for this player. I get XYZ player in. What am I going to do with this? And what does my manager want to do with it? Am I going to go? Because last time Levy got this kind of dough, they made a Horlicks of it. Mm-hmm. They had AVB in situ, and they went and bought a bunch of players that subsequently, Troy, have gone on and done better things. But when he bought them, they didn't make any particular transaction stick very well for them. So I think it's about, if you want to sit there and employ a manager and run roughshod across him and go, I don't care what your view is, I'm selling him because I want the dough, then that managerial relationship is going to fall apart lickety-split, quicker than a quick thing from Quickland, because it isn't going to work, because you either got a manager that you back or you don't, and you've got to back him in situations like this. So my situation would be, okay, I'm going to get 100 million quid for this player. What do you think? And if I give it all to you, what am I going to get back? Or do we have to fight to keep this player? What do you want to do? Now, take on board his decisions, or more to the point, his thinking, and try and find a balance between the two. That's what I'll try and do. I'm not saying it will work that way, Troy, but that's what I'll try and do. Yeah.
Simon, can Levy totally resolve the Kane situation whilst he doesn't have a manager in place, or does he need to wait to get it rubber stamped from the new guy coming in?
Well, he's not going to get it rubber stamped from anybody, because the guy that comes in and works for him is his employee. What he needs is someone's buy-in, not necessarily rubber stamp. But I take your point. In an ideal world, you'd sit there, and Troy is absolutely right, and some of the things he's saying are absolutely right on the money. It was no parallel universe this deal was going to get done before the Euros. There was no way it was going to happen. Harry Kane is not away thinking about how all if and or but. He's doing his England duty, and he'll come back to that situation after the summer, after the Euros. But in an ideal world, you'd have your manager in. In the real world, if Daniel Levy is going to say to someone like Antonio Conte, who probably came in with a wish list as long as a Magna Carta, right? I'm going to sell Harry Kane, but I'm going to get 150 million for him, and I'm going to give every single last dime of that back to you. for you to be able to improve this squad in every position that you want to improve it in, then it doesn't almost make it relevant whether you're going to keep Harry Kane, because Harry Kane's situation is going to be determined by a set of outcomes that even an incoming manager, if somebody walks through the door and says, I'll just pay 200 million for him, it doesn't matter if the incoming manager says, well, I'd like to keep him. The money will talk in the end.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.